Guys, what's up? It's Reulan with the Noobshack, and I want to go over hacker news today. So today is November 25th, 2022, and let's get to it. Check out reulan.com for all my links, reulan.com, Noobshack for game servers, for game project information. Twitter, follow us maybe, or don't. But anyways, I've been in the tech industry for like 10 years. Mostly in DevOps, infrastructure, system engineering, and I'm a big fan. I started through gaming, through hosting Counter-Strike source servers and learning what is an IP address? Oh, I have to FTP into the server to upload files. What's a script? Super basic stuff. But that kind of brought me on my journey to system administration, working at data center, and then doing more cloud engineering, figuring out what APIs are and how cloud systems are orchestrated and built together, like the networking, storage, and the compute power, how they all combine together. It's been an interesting journey along the way. So mostly rooted in systems and architecture, like Terraform, Kubernetes, Golang, Python are probably my favorite technologies to work with right now. But besides that, game dev, music. Yeah, so I'm just going to go over this and see what we got. So AI art panic is very relevant because I have, if you actually go on my SoundCloud, there's AI art being used on my SoundCloud for the the Ghost Step track, and then there's an overworld version as well. But both of those images are generated by AI. New two-factor authenticator for Commodore 64. It's interesting. I don't have a Commodore, but old school tech. Like SID chips, I'm pretty sure. But they had some really interesting video game sounds. I've seen Commodore 64 stuff being, even in Ableton and Omnisphere, seen some sounds that are reminiscent of this. Open source page block builder with Remix and Tailwind CSS. Vercel, okay. This seems pretty fun. Just build a website really quickly. So if you have a design in mind, you can kind of just block it out. Maybe apply some of the CSS attributes to components that you can build on the website and then place them in. And then it gives it all for you. I don't know. It'd be very cool. Choosing NIM out of a crowded market for system programming languages. NIM, Rust, Golang, C, if you're old school. I don't really know much about NIM, so I'm not going to go through that one. Coding curves. I wish there was more information about that, but how difficult it is to program for each individual language. So learning curve of Python would be very easy compared to learning curve of C++, something like that. Because C++ has a lot of, or Java, where it's super verbose, or has a lot of little things you need to know about garbage collection, and C++ how to use memory addresses. I don't want to know that stuff as a beginner. I just want it super simple, so I'd prefer Python. But I think that's what they're talking about. Coding curves as in difficulty curves. That's how I see it. Cloudflare servers don't own IPs anymore, so how do they connect to the internet? The servers don't own IPs, but there gotta be something in front of it, right? So those servers are probably all on their local subnet, so they have or have local DNS if they don't own IP address. That's actually so interesting, because if you're not using layer 3 networking, you don't have IP addresses. It's public IP addresses, I can believe that. Private IP addresses or a private DNS, okay. The fact that I'm confused means I have to click on it. Bin chickens, learn to wash poisonous cane toads. Okay. Lisp code typography. Haven't really used Lisp. Curl run in test HTTP with plain text. Okay. Nice. A JQ implementation of JQ. That's meta. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, public speaking skill set video. I feel like that's something I'm not good at, but something I've tried to get better at over the years. So very relevant. I'm not like freezing up anymore like I used to like 10 years ago, but I'm still like anxious and that stuff's happening. But you know, keep learning. Like everybody just requires time, practice, dedication. Find people who inspire you in those topics, you know, and like learn from them. Like that's really what I could say about that. There's definitely public speakers out there who inspire me. Used to work with some of them, so you know, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Okay. Hippotat, IP over HTTP. A lot of over HTTP or HTTP. Well, the internet, like the browser, it's like that's all, you know, HTTP and HTTP protocol. Every URL you go to. So it's like, I really shouldn't be saying, oh, why is that so popular? Of course it's popular. All right. That's IP over HTTP. That'd be funny if like Cloudflare's like, oh yeah, we use this. Because that is interesting. IP over HTTP. You don't have IP addresses, but you have HTTP addresses that have IP addresses. You know, that's another thing. There was that not yesterday, but the day before, it was the counter like writing down stuff increases higher retention, and then there was the other one where it's like Socrates is like writing things down can be like misreferenced and even more confusing because you have to ask about like the question before. It's like, where did this text to source come from and what is the context? Like you lose so much. So that's why he's like, oh, it could be interpreted in so many different ways. So like you shouldn't write it down. You should just like get it spoken like with all the context or have a different way of writing it down. I don't know. That's what I got out of it. But I like these like this. It seems like it solves a question or they're like interconnected. And I'm just looking at the top 30 and it's just like, I can see the connections there, potentially. It obviously could not be, it could be not the system they're using, right? The Cloudflare servers, but I just think that's kind of a funny coincidence. Oldest software system in continuous use. Oh, Guinness, wow, Guinness Book of World Records. KDE runs on Apple M2, full GPU acceleration. Okay. SEO spam. Collection of human errors. Oh, people make a lot of mistakes. I've made mistakes. I hope you haven't, but I mean, everybody has. I think. They could be minor mistakes. It could be huge mistakes, but learn from your mistakes, you know? Try not to repeat them if you can. And learn from other people's mistakes. So, collection of human errors. I think that's what it's doing. Great. You know, I'll read that. Okay. Keep the internet free and open. Nice. I like that. 2012. I wonder how true that is. And the Tesla git ignore, I don't know. I saw this earlier today. It's like, why is that trending? Sure, everybody has git ignore files, but besides that, I guess this is their web server, HTTP git ignore that it uses for that repo. Is PHP? Is that why it's funny? I don't know. I guess we're going backwards on this one. Yeah, A Collection of Human Errors by Voltaire, another old school philosopher. We had Socrates the other day. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna skim through this. Egyptian mummy. Mummies are around. Well, was this kind of around? 1871. Is that Voltaire's time? That's definitely not Voltaire's time. I actually don't even know. These paintings relevant? I probably should read it and then maybe I figure it out. Huh. Hold on. Yeah, okay, way before. Alright. I'm not crazy. So Voltaire was like contributing to the encyclopedia. A lot of the entries were by him. Cool. See, if I kept reading, I would have done. Interesting. Would-be historians stuck in Polybius' shadow had it rough, he concluded. And then there's a quote talking about mathematics, physics, all this stuff. Alright, this is a lot. So where's the error? Okay, here we go. Hardly anything but a collection of errors. Interesting. If you think about it, like everything we've done in the past, it's just like, how did somebody mess up in that situation? Because we didn't have correct information, misguided, accidental. There's so many ways to create an error. Somebody tells you something, but they told you the wrong thing. And it's like, wow. And if all of humanity's errors were prevented, what would happen? What would the world be like now? Would we be in like a crazy super mecha future? Like Dark Ages? Would they be erased? You know, like, that's interesting. I'm gonna go back to this later, but I'll get back to that later. Let's see. Oldest software system in continuous use. Alright. The Sabre Airline Reservation System, 1916. IRS. Wow. The IRS Individual Master File and Business Master File from the 60s, early 60s. Legacy code. Wow. COBOL. Okay. So that's old school programming languages. And assembler. So assembly language. I would not want to maintain that stuff in 2020. Tax code. 20 million lines. Oh my gosh. Written in assembler. Whew. Congrats on the plaque. Interesting. Try to use the provider. It's not working. Port 80 and 443. Wi-Fi provides all traffic. Never mind. Huh. Okay, so maybe that's completely different. Let's go to the Cloudflare article. Okay. Load balancing without load balancers. Okay, this is very on brand for them. Using IP addresses, servers without IP addresses. It's like, what? Earlier, that was one of the things I mentioned. That's like one of the bare components of a server. It's like, oh, what's an IP address? Like, that's how you connect, you know? So for me, not having it, it's like, you can connect through other ports, through other types of packets. Like, oh, I'm sending, using RabbitMQ, sending those packets. I'm using RPC calls, gRPC, sending those packets to something else, and then that does it and sends it up, right? Ingress, Cloud server, egress, internet. Okay, Anycast, unicast, egress. So you do have local IPs here. And then those local IPs, public people in the cloud are connecting to them. Cloudflare AMS, internet, origin server. Nice. Cloudflare SFO. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Doesn't operate that way. Okay. Segmenting based off egress. So based off different scenarios, based off what direction the traffic's going and what types of IPs are being used, they'll have, like, I suppose, different solutions. Cloudflare unicast IP to internet. Unicast warp IP. Okay. So is this where it comes from? Our warp app. Oh, warp, isn't that their, like, VPN thing? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Unicast. So this is warp ID for various regions. It sends it, and then unicast sends it. 3 independent tags: warp user, location of the data center. Okay. Is unicast a problem? Performance, automatic failover, DDoS, resilience, uniform software, solving $1 million problem. Cloudflare server, many specialized IP, internet. Okay. This is very intense. Okay, so I'm just going through the charts because this is quite long. Oh, nice. Anytime I see a terminal, I get happy. So we've got 198, it's private IP, maybe? 192 is a private address. 198 might be in the range. The future is here. Okay. So UK user, Cloudflare server, private IP address through these ports to the origin server. DNS request. CDNs misdirect users. Ingress. Soft unicast shows us we can achieve great flexibility and density on the egress side. With each new product and the number of tags we need on the egress grows from traffic trustworthiness, product category to geolocation. As the pool of usable IPv4's address shrinks, we can be sure there will be more innovation in the space. Soft unication is our solution, but it is not our latest development. So soft unicast. Moving away from traditional unicast. Indistinguishable from magic. Share a 30/32 amongst many servers. You can spread a single subnet across many data centers. Change it easily on the fly. Okay. So you can fully use our egress IPv4 range. Cloudflare servers don't own IP addresses anymore. Okay, there's egress server IPs though. We can group similar IP addresses together. All similar IPs can be tagged with UK. Nice. Seems pretty awesome. So that was a lot. Nice. Daphne, Mordecai. Less technology and sharing it with others. Core CPPIL. Check her out. Cool. Key moments, time anchors. Interesting. So tips and tricks, palettes, probably, titles, gentle with your audience eyes. So this seems like more like how to present your slides and present overall. This is cool. So I think I will check this out in depth more. But yeah, check her out. Daphne Mordecai. Coding curves. Is this what I thought? Nope, you're writing a book. Okay. Curves create interesting images. Okay. So I was totally off on what I thought. I thought it was going to be like how difficult it was to program or something. Not even close. Trig curves. Gotta start somewhere. Whoa. Okay. So you can do for loop. So for if as you are 1 or enter, what am I saying? Okay, I equals 0. So 0 is less than this number, 0 plus 0, 1. So you add a tenth of 1 each time you loop. And you're going to loop. Why 6 to 8? Why not 6, 3? If you're adding in this increment. Or no, dot 1. But it would be dot 0, 1 if it was this value. It's interesting. Is there an explanation for that? I don't know. But anyway, 6.3. So that's 63. This 10 times would be 1. So yeah, 60 and then 3 to go higher than that. And then it prints sin I. Okay. So it does like a function on that number. I see. Okay, that's why it's like probably so specific.